Hello, 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 Mosaic Souls. Hey, Mosaic Souls, this is Rachael Alexander, artist and Mosaic Soul mentor, aka spiritual teacher and student slash health coach and wellness coach as well. So, today I want to talk about discovering your non-negotiables. I'm gonna show you where I'm at. I'm at this place called Avondale Lake in, I guess it's like Avondale / Decatur. It's a beautiful lake over here. So decided to, I guess, take you guys on. I don't feel like walking right now. I'd rather just kind of shoot the video. So anyways, I wanted to talk about discovering your non-negotiables, the non-negotiables of your life. And this is super important. I'll do it this way, that way you can kind of see the lake behind me. This is super important. Feel free to say hi if you're joining me. This is super important because a lot of times we aren't really, as a life coach and stuff like that, one of the things that I help people do is really discover what kind of life they want to be leading and moving in the direction and creating like actionable plans, but also like the internal mindset piece to actually help them get to where they want to be in their health and in their life mainly. And one of the things that I help people really discover is discovering what their non-negotiables are. For many of us, we are constantly on the go, constantly on the run. And we never really give ourselves the time to really discover what is important to us in our lives, right? I've been re-listening to a really famous book, and I really love this one quote that he uses, saying faith is the elixir of all life. It's the power, and I can't remember the quote, but it's by Napoleon Hill, and he just basically talks about how the power of faith, which I call certainty, same name, different names, same intention. But it's basically just this idea of understanding that your intentions and your focus, what you focus in on your life, is what you're going to create. And for many of us, we don't take the time to really get clear on what kind of life we want to be leading. We just kind of, fall into the program, we fall into the matrix, we fall into, these certain set programs, and we never sit and ask ourselves, what do I really want? You know what I mean? What are the things that I really want to be experiencing in my life? What are the things that really matter to me? For some of us, some have really come here to, bear children and have a family and raise a family, and that's their sort of contribution to the world. For others, maybe, having a business or being an entrepreneur or being a supporting player on another business's docket is something that you've come to do. Maybe, your thing is really tending to the world, environmentalists. There's so many different, paths in life that we've each come to explore. And whatever your passions are usually kind of signal to you what your purpose and what are your non-negotiables, right? So I just kind of want to share with you what some of mine are, so you kind of understand what I mean by non-negotiables. Non-negotiables are basically sort of your values, right? Like your value system. What are the things in your life that you know that you cannot live without? And for me, another way that I used to call this is your happiness formula, right? So what is your happiness formula? What are the things in your life that without you would not be happy, right? So that's why I like to call it your happiness formula or your non-negotiables, right? And it's basically your value systems that you make your standards, right? You make these values so irrevocably a part of your day-to-day life that becomes like your subconscious mind gets on board with your life, and so your life starts to reflect these non-negotiables. You see what I'm saying? So like for me, the top 3 to 4 non-negotiables that I have are creative expression. That is super important to me. My soul has come here to be a creative being, and therefore I create often. For me, creativity is super important. So that's a non-negotiable for me. Having the space and the environment and the ability to be creative on a weekly basis is super important to me. Another non-negotiable for me is freedom. And freedom for me, everyone has, maybe freedom might be a part of yours, but freedom shows up differently for each of us. For me, freedom is the ability to wake up and do whatever I want to do from day to day. Whether that's working with clients, whether that's creating new creative projects, music, fashion, whatever I'm into. I just love the freedom to do what I love to do. Freedom to sleep in. Yesterday was my do nothing day. I did literally just ate, slept, and exercised. That's all I did yesterday. But having that freedom is super, super important to me. And that's the way that freedom shows up for me. Maybe freedom might show up for you differently. Maybe, having, your weekends and one extra day during the week to have time to yourself is the way freedom shows up for you. But whatever, it's about figuring out what that looks like for you and making it a non-negotiable. The third thing that's sort of a non-negotiable for me is transformation and change, variety. That's what I like to say. I like to switch things up every now and then. I think it's a part of sort of my creative spirit, but also the fourth one is impact. So how transformation and impact comes is they call this a part of like the 5 main things that we need after we get beyond the basic needs. If you study like the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, once we get past being able to have shelter, clothing, and food, you start to look at things like feeling significant, a feeling of belonging, a feeling of, community and different things like that. Can't remember them off the top of my head. But a part of my non-negotiable is finding transformation and an impact. So whatever work I'm doing in the world, I like to know that it's actually making a ripple effect, that I'm actually impacting other people's lives for the better. And that for me juices me up. When I see, people send me messages or post under my videos, or, I work with clients and they, express something that I actually put out into the world that actually helped them do better, whether that's getting on the phone with me and working with me one-on-one or in group coaching, or even just signing up for one of my lower cost offers, right? Where they did the my free smoothie challenge, or doing, my 5-day clean eating reset or whatever, right? So, and them feeling that not instant, but that, gradual feeling better in their lives. Or maybe one of my videos helped someone get a job because it helped them look at life in a different way. Whatever. Having that sort of impact in the work that I do is a non-negotiable for me. It makes me feel like I have purpose. It makes me feel like I have significance, and it makes me feel like I'm doing what I came to do on the planet, right? So for you, now that you kind of know some of my non-negotiables, what are some of your non-negotiables, right? Look at your life and think to yourself, what are the non-negotiables in my life that I cannot do without, right? And then you start to make sure, once you discover what these are, you start to build your life around that, right? So for me, being an entrepreneur is such an important part of me being able to express these 4 main core values, these 4 main non-negotiables for me, because for me, being able to have the freedom mainly is the main one why working for other people in general isn't going to be what lights me up, because it doesn't allow me that ability to wake up and do whatever I want to do. But for everyone, it's going to be different. It's going to be different. It's going to show up differently for you, and being able to discover what these are really important. Other non-negotiables that I have is that I have to eat loads of fruits and vegetables, being predominantly plant-based. Meaning, 90 to 100% of my diet comes from plants, right? Fruits, vegetables, grains, nuts, seeds, and all that good stuff, right? That's a non-negotiable, because I've experimented with my body for over 10 years, and I know that when I don't eat this way, when I don't eat predominantly plants, I don't feel good, right? So that's a non-negotiable for me, being able to have that, right? And, I have many other values in my life, but I just wanted to share some of my top 4, and I wanted to help you discover what yours are, right? Like, what is your happiness formula, and what can you not live without? And when you start to discover these, you'll start to be able to develop sort of like an action plan, non-action plan, intentional living. You start to live more intentionally in your life, and you're no longer moving from a space of, I don't know what I'm doing with my life, or you're moving from a space of life on autopilot, and you wake up 10 years from now and you're wondering, what the heck, how did I get here? How did 10 years just pass me? And I'm not even living with what I want, you know. One of the scientific, or one of the, I think it was like a nurse or something, she compiled a bunch of information from people who were on their deathbeds, and one of the things that they had a huge thing that was part of their regret was that they felt like they wished they had lived more for themselves rather than for what other people thought they should be living, right? Instead of living for other people in the sense of, you know, I'm doing what other people think I should be doing, they wish they had lived for themselves and done more of what they wanted to do and done more of what they love to do in the world. So me as a life and health and wellness coach, that's a part of what I help people do, right? I help people get clear on that and to start creating a life that's in alignment with doing what they love to do, so that they don't wake up on their deathbed sometime in the, you know, near or far away future saying, God, I wish I lived more in alignment. I wish I lived more fully. I wish I did more of what I love, right? We don't want to, you know, live life for, what's that famous saying of, don't die with your music still left inside of you. I love that, right? Don't die with your music left inside of you, whether that's, you know, running a business, or whether that's, you know, having a family, or whether that's traveling more, or whatever that is for you. Figuring out what your non-negotiables are really going to help you move in closer to that direction. And yeah, so that's all I wanted to share with you. Just understanding that it's super important to have these non-negotiables and your standards, part of what I call your happiness formula, so that you can live a more fulfilled life, right? So that you can wake up every day and do what you love to do and live more abundantly and live more fully as who and what you truly are, right? So with that being said, I think I am complete with talking about this. I'm going to finish my walk around the lake. If you are someone who is looking to get more support in creating this sort of transformation in your mind, body, and spirit, I invite you to join me for the Back to Nature Challenge. The enrollment, I'll wait till these people pass. The enrollment is still open, and it closes this Friday at Saturday, I think, the 16th, whatever the 16th is. I think it's Saturday. It closes this May 16th at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Back to Nature Challenge is a 21-day reset your life challenge. So we target the mind, body, and spirit, and some of the things that I shared with you in this video, we dive more deeper into. We tackle mindset, we tackle, you know, what are the things that are preventing you from getting to where you want and creating an actual intentional way of living, small habit changes, small habit tweaks to help you live more in alignment with who you desire to be on the planet. We tackle the body in week 2. In week 2, we talk all about, you know, igniting your inner healer and, you know, fueling your body with the right foods and fueling your energy with the right wellness practices, right? And in week 3, we talk all about the soul, right? And getting in alignment with your life purpose and aligning with, you know, what lights you up, your passions and your joy, right? And so that's what we tackle in the 21-day challenge. And if that's something that you are interested in, feel free to go to bit.ly/Back to Nature Challenge. I will post it below this video so you can check it out. Again, the enrollment closes for the challenge on this Saturday, I think, at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I would love to help guide you through this process and getting back to nature, back to your true nature and to Mother Nature in all areas of your life, so that you feel more fulfilled and in alignment with who you desire to be on the planet as well. If that is something that interests you, feel free to go to bit.ly/Back to Nature Challenge. Feel free to support this channel by giving this video, if it helped you in any way, a thumbs up, and subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. And I will talk to you guys soon. Peace, love, and light. Have an awesome day. Remember to always vibrate higher, because you are divine. You are a divine being, and your soul knows exactly what you came to expand, explore, and move into. So I look forward to talking to you guys soon. Have a wonderful rest of your week. Peace, love, and light.